Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Barbara and I live in Tennessee. And so I'm in Zone 7B, and on this channel we talk about all things gardening, homesteading, DIY, cooking from scratch. And so if that's your jam, I would invite you to go ahead and subscribe and be a part of this amazing community. But today I want to talk about something that is on my mind and on my heart, and that is about garden burnout and garden overwhelm. And so we may do some little paddling in the garden today, but before we even do that, I want to really talk about this topic, because if you're like me, we're in the middle of the summer gardening season, and y'all, there's lots of challenges, and I don't even have to be in your area to know that you're having challenges, right? I don't have to be in your area to know that things may not be going just as well. And so before I jump into this topic, I want to invite you to help me thank our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with therapists and makes getting therapy easy, right? And so in this season of life that I'm in now, I have a lot going on. I have 2 businesses that I'm running. I have a family. I am a minister's wife. The list goes on and on and on. And I find myself often feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I just cannot take one other thing. And that's where therapy can come in and be really, really helpful. And so with BetterHelp, if you click the link in my description box below, you can get 10% off your first month for free. It's so easy to get help through BetterHelp. All you have to do is go to the website that's in the description box below, and they will match you with a therapist in as little as 48 to 72 hours. And so you fill out a questionnaire and you talk and fill out what you're looking for in a therapist, what type of interest you have, what you need therapy for, what type of style you're looking for in your therapist, and they will match you, like I said, in as little as 72 hours. You can connect with that therapist in many ways. You can talk via phone, you can talk via video call, you can talk via text. And so it's extremely convenient to make therapy just very real and very easily accessible. And so I invite you, if you're experiencing garden overwhelm, and maybe it's not the garden, maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your job, maybe it's just that season and time of life where you feel like you could use a little extra support of somebody to talk to, please click the link below in my description box and get 10% off of your first month. So let's talk about why I'm talking about this today. And again, some of this is therapy for me because I need to talk about it and get it off of my chest. And one of the things that I try to do on my channel is I try to be very real and transparent. I don't think it is, I don't want to say right. I don't think it's realistic if the only videos you ever see from me is me skipping through the garden and being happy, and you seeing me in the kitchen and everything turns out picture perfect and I don't burn anything. I don't think it's realistic for you to see me every time on my channel and I am in this jolly good mood, which I do try to be in a good mood when I turn on the camera, but you understand what I'm saying. That is not life. And I don't care what season of life you're in, where you live geographically, what age you are. There are seasons in your life where things can feel overwhelming. And when you're trying to garden, yes, the garden does give peace, but also the garden can be a source of stress. I'll speak for me. Over the past week or so, I've had a lot going on in my, personal life, kids, work, you name it, it's been going on, right? As well as having, some health challenges, and just, I'm having issues with my knee. I've talked about that, pretty openly in terms of the issues I'm having with my knee and all of that good stuff. And so there have been days with an S, plural, and yesterday being one of them, which solidified for me that I need to do this video and talk about it, because I want to remove the shame. I want to remove the guilt around sometimes you don't feel like going to the garden. And yesterday was one of those days. And so we're trying to adapt this new eating schedule in my house. We typically eat later than we should. And so I've tried to move up the eating time, by an hour or 2. And so with that being said, we're eating earlier and then I go out to the garden later versus vice versa. And yesterday I had worked in the kitchen all day in terms of not necessarily, well, I did cook, but I was really just taking care of the harvest. My counters were absolutely covered. And although I am grateful and I feel blessed and I have a sense of gratitude, it overwhelms me when I walk in my kitchen and there is no empty counter space. and everything is just covered with food. And what it represents to me is a to-do list. Like, I got stuff to do because I got to do something with this food, right? I either have to eat it, I have to sell it, I have to give it away, or I have to preserve it. And in running multiple businesses and just having a busy personal life, the summer, I always call it the summer press. It is hard to accomplish it at all. And yesterday I found myself, I needed to go to the garden. Like, I needed to go to the garden. My husband had told me like the day before that there were some hornworms on my tomato plants. Like, one section, he was like, they're completely covered. I picked off as much as I could. Well, when he came in the house and told me, it was already dark. And so yesterday was going to be my day to do that. Well, it rained most of the day yesterday, like monsoon rain. But by the time the rain had stopped, it was like a little bit before dark. I was going to go out to the garden to try to deal with the hornworms on the tomatoes. And then I desperately need to fertilize because I have not fertilized. It's probably been on the outside garden, probably 2 weeks. On the inside garden, probably, I don't know, a week and a half, something like that. But I try to fertilize every week in the summer. And plus, I'm having so many issues with the outside garden and the weather that I really needed to fertilize. So it wasn't some cute stuff like I want to go to the garden. Like, I needed to go to the garden. And the thought of not going to the garden was like, oh my goodness, all my tomato plants is going to be done. It's going to be over, like all the things. But I could not find it within me to go. Now, I know when you turn on this channel, I'm always, happy. I'm upbeat. And that's generally my personality. So I'm not putting on. But there's many times that I don't turn the camera on for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes turning on the camera creates another level of stress because now I have to talk and deliver content and get the thing done. And sometimes I don't have as much time as I would like. So I just have to get the thing done. So some stuff, I don't show on camera just because I simply can't. That's every content creator's life story. We can't show everything. We try to show most things. But there are times when I don't feel like going to the garden. And I would say when I feel that way, it's mostly in the summer because it's so busy and so crazy. Because you have to be out there every single day. And let's say if I feel like that, I would say 75% of the time I go anyway. So I push through and I go anyway. And I'm usually glad that I did. But yesterday, y'all, I could not push through. I could not. It was like 6:30, 7 o'clock. We had finished dinner. And I had an hour and a half left of daylight. So I had time. I had opportunity. The weather had stopped raining. But I personally was like, I just don't even want to go down there and see it. Knowing that hornworms are eating up my tomato plants. Knowing I need to fertilize. Knowing it's been, another monsoon of rain. There's no telling what it looks like out there. Knowing I need to harvest. Like, knowing all those things, I was like, I can't do it. And so I didn't. And my husband said something to me that really stood out. I took a shower, I put on my pajamas, and I got in the bed. Not to go to sleep, but to just veg, right? And just to chill. But I was talking about, I didn't go to the garden. Oh, what about this? What about that? And he said, now, if you're not going to go to the garden, don't feel guilty about it. Like, let the guilt go. And I thought about it. He was like, you didn't go. You decided not to go, which I think is a good thing. I think you made the right choice. He said, but don't spend the rest of your night feeling guilty, talking about you not going and beating yourself up. And so that's the message I want to give to you is garden overwhelm is real. Garden burnout is real. It doesn't mean that you love it less. I'm telling you, I get to this point. For the last 4 years I've been gardening, I have felt this way every single year. It is always during the summer because that's when it's the most hectic. I have felt this way, and when I first started feeling this way, it used to scare me because I love gardening so much, and I'm thinking, I must don't love it anymore. Like, oh my goodness, I've invested all this time, money, and energy. What if I don't want to go back out there tomorrow? What if I don't want to go out there next week? Again, jumping way ahead of the curve, right? Feeling guilty. And even the things you love can burn you out. And so I don't know who this is for outside of me, but I want to let you know that if you're feeling overwhelmed in the garden this season, if you're feeling burned out, like you can't quite put your arms around it, like you can't quite keep it all together, I want to say that I see you. I hear you. And it's okay. Because today came, y'all, and your girl been rocking and rolling. This is my 3rd video today. I don't never do 3 videos in one day, right? I don't have that kind of, my life not set up like that, but today it was set up like that. And y'all, I'm out. This is my first time outside today. It feels amazing. It didn't rain all day, y'all. It rained all day again. But now it's nice outside, and I want to go to the garden. I want to go. And I don't know what it's going to look like when I get down there. I don't know if my tomato plants in that section are completely decimated. I don't know if everything done turned brown and fallen off the leaf. I don't know. But what I do know is that I honored what I needed last night. I honored how I felt last night and gave myself permission to say, I'm not going today. I do the best that I can, and I give anything that I'm in, I give it 150%, 99.9% of the time. And I know that you do the same. Many of you are working jobs where you're outside of the home. Like I work all day. I work from home because I have my own business, right? But there was a time when I didn't work from home, but I didn't have a garden then either. So I can't imagine leaving my house every day, gone for 8 hours a day, and still trying to garden on the scale that I do. I don't know that I could do the scale that I'm doing now. This is made, like they say in the commercial, this is made possible because I work from home. And so in between me, y'all see me, I be so many outfit changes during the day. Like this is like the 4th outfit I've had on today because I've had many different things, that I'm doing. I had meetings this morning with the client. For those who don't know, I have an HR consulting business where I support small businesses with HR. So that is my professional background. So that is my business that pays the bills. Well, with the Lord Jesus. That's the avenue, that's the vehicle, right? And then we have the farm business that one day will help pay the bills. It pays all the farm bills. So that, praise God. Thank you, Jesus, for that. It does pay, the farm does pay for itself now, which is a blessing. But so if you're working outside of the home and you're coming in at 4 or 5 and you got to get dinner on the table and then you're trying to spend a little few minutes in your garden, I feel for you. That's not easy. It's not easy, and I'm at home during the day. So I know it's not easy. And so I just want to say it's okay. If nobody told you it was okay today, it's okay. And when you turn on my channel, you're like, man, how come she can do it and I can't? Y'all, you are seeing a moment in time. There are many things that you don't see. Not because I'm trying to hide it from you. That's just life. I don't carry the camera around me 24/7. You are seeing literally an hour and a half to 2 hours of my life each week. Versus how many hours are in a week? 168? So yes, when I turn on the camera, I may be harvesting corn. Then I may be sowing some seeds. I may be doing this. But you don't know. Sometimes y'all have seen that one video can span like 4 days because I only had 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there. So don't get caught up on what you see on YouTube, not even on my channel, and think that I'm so great. I'm not. I am just like you, hustling, trying to fit it in where I can. In this season of life, I have more flexibility than I've ever had because I work from home. But that has not always been my life. And when it was my life to do something else, I wasn't gardening. There's no way I could have. Now I'm blessed to have the opportunity to do both. I can have a business and to garden. So I hope that this helps somebody. I hope that it makes you feel settled in your spirit. If there's a time when you feel like you just can't go to the garden, just don't. But don't sit in the house and feel guilty about it. Get the rest that you need, chill, do the things that you want to do, and then regroup tomorrow or regroup in 3 or 4 more days, right? Garden overwhelm is real. Garden burnout is real. And it doesn't mean that you love it any less. It doesn't mean that you're any less committed because you didn't go to your garden 2 days in a row. It doesn't mean that you are not going to have food for your family because you didn't spend 5 hours in the garden on your weekend and you want to sit in the house and chill all weekend. It doesn't mean that. I think Jess from Roots and Refuge says the best medicine for the garden is the gardener. So when you can be your best self, when you can give and you have something to give, go out to your garden. let there be peace in the garden, right? And another thing for me, when it comes to sometimes when I go out to the garden and I don't do content, it is because I just need the garden to be for me. Meaning I don't need it to be about work. Because shooting content, even though I love doing it, it is work, right? I have to set up cameras. I have to adjust. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes along with me shooting content. And sometimes I just want to go to the garden to just garden. And that's okay. And so let the garden be what it needs to be for you. Sometimes it's going to be hustle and grind, work. And then sometimes it's going to be lax and chill and just, you know what? I'm going to go out here and spend about 10 minutes and then I'm going to go in the house and watch a movie. That is okay. So I hope that helps you wherever you are. If you've experienced garden burnout, garden overwhelm, just say yes below. Let me know if you understand. If you're picking up what I'm dropping down, okay? So we are in the garden. Let us do a couple of things. Let's start off with the green beans. That's what we're going to do. So y'all, I have been desperately trying to get me green beans everywhere I can. These green beans have a germination mind of their own. I have sowed green beans so many times. Sometimes it takes, sometimes it doesn't, especially my green stalks. I have, one just dropped. I have one growing right there. Then I have one growing over there. But I have sowed all of these at least 2 times. This is going to make time number 3. I soak my seeds to make them easier to germinate. And because we've had so much rain, y'all, I'm going to try it again because ain't nothing else in these green stalks up at the top 2 layers. This is where we had our onions. So we're going to sow some again. And y'all, I'm so short I can't even hardly see up here. So I'm just pressing it down and trying to cover it up. We're going to see if we can get some more green beans because to me this is free real estate. Instead of me trying to buy another plant or flower to put up here, I want to do green beans in my green stalk. I don't know. These beans are jade green beans. They are, I think, 2 years old. I'm putting 2 in every thing. But they have been the hardest to germinate. But I'll be honest, I have not had great success with getting green beans to germinate on the first time ever. I don't care what variety it is. It seems like it always takes a couple of times. Now, I will go back and water this in because this soil is moist, but it's not wet because, of course, the green stalk has a top on it. So it's only getting like the side rain. But I'm going to try it again. So that's the first thing we're going to do is try to get us some more green beans if we can. So I'm just going to go through and sow these all in my green stalk again and see if we can get some more green beans. And then we're going to take a look and see. I think I have some zucchini we can harvest, and so we'll do that next. So I put the green beans in the green stalk, then I also planted a few more in this open space right here. But you can see my green beans that did come up are doing pretty good. I would say they're probably maybe 30 days from bearing green beans. So that's good, but I know that's not going to be enough. So I keep trying to get me more green beans. But look, y'all, I have a lot more chamomile. If you can see that right here, that we can harvest. Y'all, this took forever to get going, but once it got going, it's still looking good. I only have this one chamomile. I planted a ton, but only one survived. So I've been drying it on its own, and then I'll have it for tea this fall and winter. And then I'll definitely do it again next year, see if I can get me more plants for sure. So you just, from what I understand, from what I read, you just harvest them when the blooms are open and they're not wet, like from the dew. So this is in the evening, so we don't have any dew. And then the more I harvest, the more I always have like the next day, which is great. So I'm excited to be able to add this. Okay, so we got all the chamomile. So we got this much chamomile. Not a lot, but every little bit counts. Now let's go over here to this bed because I saw a zucchini that was ready to be harvested. So you can see that nice size zucchini right there. There's one there, and then there's one there. And then I think that's it. So let me grab these two and I'm gonna tell you about this zucchini. Okay, so I got two nice zucchini that are absolutely beautiful, no blemishes, from this right here. Yesterday I harvested 5, so this is 6 and 7, and then before that I think I harvested 3. So I've harvested 10 zucchini from literally 2 plants out of this bed. Now 10 may not sound like a lot, but that's actually more than, or either more or the same as what I got in my beds down there, and I had multiple zucchini plants. I had at least 6 or 7. My zucchini in my outside garden, as you know if you've been here, did not do well at all. We're now doing a second succession of the zucchini, but the first succession did not do well. My squash did better. But out here I got 1 squash plant and I have not harvested 1 squash. What's the difference? I don't know. But these plants right here, you know, the zucchini and stuff looks so healthy right now. There is no disease, no powdery mildew, no nothing, which I'm so excited about. And it makes me feel, I don't know, like a throwback good, because y'all, this is where my garden started, right here in my backyard. So if you don't know my story, I started gardening 4 years ago with these 4 raised beds behind my house. The bed that you saw me in the chamomile was bed number 5. That came later. But it started with these 4 beds, and this is the bed where I first planted squash. So to have, and zucchini. So to have squash and zucchini in this bed again, I don't know, it's just so special. It's so special to me. And so what I've been doing with my zucchini, when I haven't been able to eat it, the 5 zucchini that I got from here earlier in the week, I actually shredded it in my food processor, and then I freeze dried it. And so I'm going to use that to add in like lasagnas, maybe some zucchini bread and things like that. So give me some more ideas if you have them. I realized as the summer season has been going on and I've been eating squash and zucchini, I realized that squash tastes different than zucchini. It's not the same thing, and one's just yellow, one's just green. It has a different taste. And I don't prefer the taste of zucchini over squash. I prefer the taste of squash. And so I'll usually do it together, like roasted, but I find myself, I gravitate towards the squash and not the zucchini. Yet I know that the zucchini is good for me, so I want to try it in some different ways by shredding it and putting it into things. But let me know some of your favorite zucchini recipes or ways that you use zucchini down below. Give me some ideas. So I'm going to take these in the house and my chamomile, and then I'm going to get my fertilizer, and we're going to actually fertilize back here. And let me show you my new backpack sprayer. I know, I always got something new, because I do. And it's new, but it's not new. I'll explain when I come back. Hold the phone. Okay, so this is my new backpack sprayer. And I say it's new because it is new, but I say it's not new because it's the exact same kind that I have that I use in my tunnel and my outside garden. This is by Petro Tools. The only difference is that this is a 2-gallon and the one I have out there is a 4-gallon. So I'm coming to the realization, and slowly but surely, whatever I have over there, down there, the tunnel and the outside garden, I'm having a duplicate up here. So I started like with getting me a seat up here, like I got a seat down there. And then I found that this back here does not get fertilized as much because my backpack sprayer is down there. Can I bring it up here? Yeah, but it's just a pain to carry it up here and then to get it back when I need it. And so I decided to just invest and get me one for back here that is much smaller. It is a 2-gallon and it is absolutely perfect. I don't even use the whole 2 gallons for this space back here. So I use this for my 5 raised beds and my green stalks. So usually about a gallon will do, but I've been loving it. They had it on sale. This is from Petro Tools. I'm not affiliated with them and don't have a discount code, but Petro Tools, if you're watching, holla at your girl, okay? All right, so today I'm using fish emulsion fertilizer, and this is a 511, so it's going to be higher in nitrogen. You guys have seen what I used before, which is the Ultra and the Rev. And I will do fish emulsion, I don't know, maybe once a month. I change it up. But everything I use, I've told you about. There's no secrets over here. The fish emulsion just stinks so bad, but it is very, very effective. And then I just use these cups that has all the measurements on it. It has it in tablespoons and ounces and in teaspoons. So I'm going to do, let me do it so I can see. We're going to do 1 tablespoon to 1 gallon. And that's it, just like that. I'm gonna get the hose pipe and from my hose reel, add some water, and then I'm gonna go through and spray and fertilize all the plants. I'm gonna add some Ultra to it as well. If you have a small space and you are watering or fertilizing by hand, I highly suggest that you look at getting one of these small backpack sprayers. It is perfect if you have a small space. Now again, because I have so much, and I only fill this up halfway, and that did everything out here on that 1 gallon. But because I have so much down there to do, the 4 gallon works a lot better. But it's good that now that I have one back here. I want to say that my 4 gallon one was probably $220, somewhere along in there, I think. Just go to Petra, P-E-T-R-A, tools, I think, .com. And this one was like 120, something like that. So again, expensive is relative. It depends on what you want to do and how efficient you want to be, and you know how far your coins will get you. But it's definitely a good option if you need a backpack sprayer. Now I'm going to take this off, and this is so lightweight and perfect for my back versus the other one. I'm now having to fill it up halfway and do it twice, which is not very efficient, because when it's full all the way, it's hard for me to get on my back if I'm down there by myself. But anyway, let me meet you down in the outside garden, the tunnel, and let's see if I got any plants left. Let's find out what's going on. See, these are seedlings that can probably go out. But remember, I wasn't down here yesterday, and y'all, I thought they were gonna be all drooping and dead, and they look just fine. They have been sustained. That's more corn that can go out. Even my comfrey, I have 2 comfrey plants left. Like, this hasn't been watered, and it looks just fine. My rosemary looks a little dry, but that's okay. It's mostly drought tolerant. But this right here, my lemon balm, needs some water, but once I give it some water, it should liven right on up. I'm just showing you that everything's not brown. Things are green. Oh my goodness, friends, look at this. Look how big my Roma tomatoes are. That was not like that 2 days ago at all. So flowers still doing good. Green beans still doing good. This celosia plant is just humongous, but not one flower. Okay, I got a bad tomato right there that's been eaten, but that's okay. I still see tomatoes out here that can be picked, that look good. Look at all that. Y'all, I still have food. Now, this section back here on the far side is where he said all the hornworms were. So let's go take a look. This is where he said he picked up all the hornworms. So you can see definitely hornworm damage. But there's 3 tomatoes on there that we can get right here today. Definitely hornworm damage for sure. More hornworm damage. Another one. But so far, the rest of these look to be okay. So the first thing we're gonna do, y'all, that tomato is huge. Look at that. So we're gonna harvest all the tomatoes first before we fertilize. I still got sage and oregano, y'all. All is okay. All is okay. all is okay, y'all. All is okay. I say that not to brag on me, but to let you know that I was worried for nothing. Now, like I said, there was stuff I needed to do, right? I needed to put out these things. I needed to fertilize. I needed to do quite a few things, but it's all okay. There's still a lot of green out here. There's still a lot of food out here. Let this be your reminder that it is okay if you miss a day, miss a weekend, miss a few days, miss a week in the garden. Y'all, I have been away from my garden because of travel, not necessarily because I just didn't want to come, but because of travel. 2 weeks max. I think it's the longest we've been away. When we went to Australia 2 years ago, we were gone for 2 weeks. The whole family. There was nobody here tending to the garden. Now, it was in November, so it was in the greenhouse. It was protected culture in terms of, not a lot of rain, no rain could get in and things like that. But 2 weeks, y'all, I didn't see my garden. I didn't fertilize. I didn't do anything. And I came back and it was just fine. So I need to remember that in the summer when I miss a day. But I hope that encourages you that, yes, garden overwhelm is real, but it's going to be okay. There will be another day. There will be another opportunity. And yes, you are still a great gardener. What I'm going to do now is let's see if I can find me a basket, which I don't know. I really need a big basket. And right now, I'm not laying my eyes on one. Let me see what I can round up so I can get these tomatoes. That's the first thing on the list. Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you what we yielded in terms of tomatoes, and I also went ahead and did bell pepper harvest. My husband is right now spraying for hornworms. There's definitely hornworm damage like I showed you, and I probably threw away, I would say 7 or 8 tomatoes, but let me show you what I harvested. Okay, y'all, so I still harvested a whole basket of tomatoes. If I had to guess, that's at least 30 tomatoes right there. And then I also harvested a whole basket of bell peppers. And I probably had to throw away 2 or 3 bell peppers. I don't normally have issues with bell peppers in my tunnel. But this year I am. Everything is a little bit off this year. I'm not sure why, but I still have a great size harvest. And these are mostly turning. These will be red, yellow, and orange. You can see they're starting to blush. But before they get eaten up, we're just going to take them in the house. And then you see my husband, he has a sprayer. He is using some BT to spray all the tomatoes and get them real good and see if we can stop the hornworm damage. And so what I'm going to do now is water the containers since they haven't been watered, and then we'll fertilize the plants once we harvest all the things that we want off of them. I have some jalapenos that I can harvest as well, so I'll do that, as well as get the fertilizer ready and water the containers. So now I'm on green bean mission again. And so I have some open spaces where some green beans did not germinate in this bed. And so I decided to reseed some green beans in some open spaces as well. Again, the green beans that have germinated are looking great and are doing well, but I'm not sure what goes on with this germination with my green beans. Like I said, I've never really been able to put green beans down one time and they automatically take like good germination. I always have to come back like 2 or 3 times. And so I'm not sure what that is. I even, for the most part, soak my beans ahead of time. And so soaking just helps them easier to germinate quicker. You can certainly sow the seed without it being soaked in water, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you have a hard time germinating green beans, or if you typically have good germination on the first pass. In the past, I have done Blue Lake green beans. Those were the green beans that I started off with when I was gardening. I did those for the first 3 years. And then last year was my first time trying jade, and I really liked it. So I'm doing primarily jade this year. There's another green bean that I did this year in the back of my house as well. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a small filet green bean. But those are the only bush beans that I've tried. And so once I do the green beans, I go back here to check my where the trellis is, because remember we sowed some seeds back here that were black beans. And when I checked it the other day, I still had about 3 or 4 more open spots where they did not germinate. Well, I found a pack of seeds. And so I'm coming back here to put some more black bean seeds in the ground where I have those open spaces. So hopefully we'll have some good germination. Because this is on drip, it should be hopefully just fine. I don't know what happened to the other ones. I'm assuming maybe, I don't know, rabbit ate them or something like that. But anyway, that's part of the gardening journey, that sometimes you have to go more than once. I just realized that with green beans, that is always the case, versus other crops. I don't usually have to do it 2 or 3 times to get germination, unless like the seed is bad or something like that. So anyway, I got that done, so we can check that off the list. Okay, friends, so now I've come to the outside garden. I left the camera in there, but let me show you what I harvested. So you can see here I have a whole bucket of cherry tomatoes. I have another basket of tomatoes from out here, and I still have another row left to go. I got maybe 25% full bucket on jalapenos, and then I have that bunch of basil right there, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg. That was just, it's trying to go to seed, so I just cut some of it down. So I still have half of a row left of tomatoes to get, but the sun is about to catch me, so I'm gonna keep working. But you can't go with me because it's about to be dark, right? But I want to say, I hope that this video encouraged you. Y'all, I didn't come out to the garden yesterday, and today I'm not necessarily making up, but today I have the energy. I've been out here for, I don't have my watch, but I think for like a couple of hours, and I feel good. I feel good. All because I didn't come out here yesterday doesn't mean that all hope was lost. Do we have some damage? Yeah, but we had some damage before I decided not to come out here yesterday. So all is well. Plants are resilient, and things want to grow. So if you're experiencing garden overwhelm or hurt, or garden overwhelm or burnout, then definitely be encouraged. I hope that your gardens are doing well. And also remember, if you need to talk to a therapist, please click on the link in my description below for BetterHelp for 10% off your first month. I can't recommend it enough. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.